You know, when you come to a track meet, you have no business asking somebody for their PR. Like, don't ask me for my PR.
Hey, Sean, you know, I heard you ran 10-1.
I'm now forced to lie to you. I'm gonna be like, no, I mean, I haven't ran that. I've never ran that fast. I'm a 10-4 guy, you know. I'm still new to this track stuff. And then you won't see me blow you off, you know. So it's like...
So let's start off. Let's talk about South Africa. So what are you guys looking to do this year at World Champs? We know, you know, we had the relay baton drop in the 4x1 this year. What are you trying to do at World Champs?
I think for the most part, we just need to actually get in like more practice days because we only could really practice the day before, like a couple of hours before.
That's one of the things that's like so frustrating. It's like you get all these top level athletes, just like you saw with the USA.
Yeah.
And you only have 2 days to practice. Talk about that. Talk about the experience in Tokyo.
So same way, you know, the US trials, for example, guys actually only know the team after the trials.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you only have like a certain amount of weeks to practice, really even 2-3 weeks. And then with South African athletes, for example, they're everywhere around the world. They're not all based in South Africa. Yeah. So to actually find a time where we all in the same place at the same time to practice for world championships or like global competitions in general is pretty hard. And it's actually, you know, it's a little bit shaky, especially at competitions because now the pressure's on us, but we can't have we don't have enough practice days to actually put in the right work. And it's not about just, oh yeah, no, 2-3 practices and it's you know, it's solid. You know, we actually need months to prepare. That's why teams like Great Britain, China do so well because a lot of the athletes stay at home and actually, you know, have enough time to practice. They know the team well in advance. You know, they know
all their 4 guys because they probably only have 4 guys.
Yeah,
you feel me?
So that's the thing. And if the US, like for example, what the US has so much talent, you can't just pick the same 6 guys, you know, because you're not gonna get the same 6 guys, top 6 at US trials. You know what I'm saying? So same with South Africa. South Africa has like a few top guys, about 5. But, you know, they're not all going to run the 100. Like, Wade van Niekerk is a 400 guy, but he's still going to give you a 9.9.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You know, so it's very tough to pick the teams and also different coaches. You know, there's a different coach every time. So you never know if it's going to be the same coaching method, if it's going to be the same legs, et cetera, et cetera. So there's so many factors you actually have to consider.
So do you think having a veteran like Akani there helps keep the team together a whole lot more? Or is it like, hey, we got some new young bucks and it's like so let me frame it this way. Is it better to have an experienced leader or you think more young talent?
I think experienced leader because like for me and Akani, for example, we have actually become closer. We came closer because we were training together in Italy. And then he actually, you know, put me on some free game, quote unquote free game. But he basically like he told me like, okay, what to do, how to prepare for like, you know, global titles and so forth. And I feel like you can't teach that experience. But if someone is there who's been on the same path as you, can like show you the way and tell you, okay, you know, do this and this, you know, don't do that, try avoid this, try avoid that, you know, and for him to actually, you know, we've seen what he's done. Yeah. We've seen him run down so many like top level guys.
9'8".
So, you know, 9'8" guy, you can't
any day he can pop off.
You know, you can't just put him aside. He's the main guy for that. And, you know, he brings that calmness because, you know, he has that composure, that charisma. And, you know, he brings that confidence out of me as well because I'm like, you know, he's got this. So I also got this. So, you know, some mistakes happen, of course, but like, I feel like he's a big part of the team as well.
Definitely. Well, as you guys have seen, we are sitting here with Shaun Maswanganyi, University of Houston sprinter, now South African Olympian, and we're just chopping it up, talking about the previous season. We're about to get into what he's looking forward to this year, what PRs he's trying to hit, and really just pick his brain about whatever he's feeling like talking about. Shaun, go ahead. Introduce yourself to everybody.
I'm Shaun Maswanganyi, South African track and field athlete. I say track and field because I also jump as well, and I'm getting back
heard
into that.
He coming for you, Carl. You dig? You see Carl, greatest long jump all time. Got this dude right over here running 10-0, 9.9 coming soon. You smell me?
You got me. But you know, it's actually crazy this season because I actually thought I was gonna break 10 legally this year because I already ran 10-0 as a junior athlete, like as a 19-year-old. So you know, but I had like such a big break from last season to this season. I literally spent eight months without training. So yeah. It's very hard to shake back, but I actually did shake back. And I still managed to PR by a little bit. I went from 10.06 to 10.04 legal.
There we go.
You know, barely any win. So I was like, okay, you know, my time's legit. And then I had a windy 9.8. You know, I was very confident this season, especially as the season progressed, because indoor, I didn't have a good indoor season. And I was really worried about, like, if I'm going to be able to produce outdoor. Because, you know, indoor, it's a good indicator. It's not everything, but it's a good indicator as to where you are with your fitness, and especially if you know how to actually convert your 60 to 100.
Talk about that. How do you convert a 60 to 100? Because you see a lot of people now, especially they're focusing a whole lot more on indoor. Whereas me, I've always been more of an outdoor person, where indoor is really just like the prep. It's like, okay, you're working on a phase for your 100, not really, oh, I'm going to master the 60. Like, how do you approach it? So
with me and my coach, for example, we know that, okay, I'm going to reach my top end speed fast regardless, because I'm a good accelerator. But I'm just trying to delay my acceleration and reach my top speed later on in the race so I can hold it for less. Because really a 100-meter sprint or a 60-meter sprint, you can't hold your top speed for more than a second. There's no one, no matter who you are, you can't hold your top speed for more than a second. The only difference that separates a lot of people, especially top athletes, top level athletes, is that, it's the little details, the little things. So if I'm holding my top speed for like 2 seconds, I mean, if I'm deaccelerating from 80 to 100 and you deaccelerating from 70 to 100, because you reached top speed earlier, you basically going to be slower than me at the end of the day. So that's like what I try to implement with my 60. I say, okay, be patient. I still got to run the first 60. I still got to get on it, but I just need to know that I'm not going to be as aggressive in my acceleration in my 60 as the same way as the 100. But I still have to set it up the same. Just the only difference is I just know that I have to come up a little bit later in the 100 as opposed to the 60. There you go. So talking about the 60, what are you trying to hit this year and fix the mistakes from last year? Last year, I realized that with my 60, I was a little bit too patient. I was too relaxed. So by the time I got up and running, it was a little bit too late. Yeah. Which is good for my 100, but bad for a 60. Yep. So I was still a consistent guy. I'll give you a 6.6 any day. 6.68. So, didn't you open up with 6.68? Yeah, I opened up with 6.6. Yeah. And even my bad day when I had a late reaction, like 0.2 reaction, I was still able to go 6.6. And it happened at nationals. Unfortunately, I kind of bummed out. Just wasn't my day. One of those days happened, you just sit in the blocks and then boom, like sooner or later the race is over. But I think I treated that as a learning mistake, and it kind of like woke me up at the same time. And then, I just thought to myself, okay, my PR at the time was 6:58, or 6:56 outdoor, and then indoor 6:58. And I knew when I ran that 6:58, there were so many mistakes I could have made. So really, it's about learning and learning. So I know that, okay, I'm going to run faster than 6:58. I don't know what I'm going to run, but I know I need to do something special to win the 60 indoor, because Michael Williams is not here to play. This man, you see his start, bow-legged, rolling. So looking at the competition and knowing that you didn't have your best performance at nationals, what kind of mindset did you have to have? Because I know a lot of sprinters I would be down on myself, like, damn, bro, got all the way to nationals, didn't perform the way I wanted to. Like, how did you convert that into your outdoor season? That day was actually crazy, because as soon as I finished the race, I just went back to the stands. I saw Carl's face, I saw Burrell's face. They were so disappointed, but like, they didn't beat me down or anything, because they know my talent, they know my potential. So they, just said, it's okay. Well, I'm not gonna say it's okay, but it's because it's not okay. But I'm just gonna say it's okay. So we just get in the flight and fly back. I mean, we're back in Houston that same day. We did not waste any time, and that kind of got me to clear my mind and say, okay, don't hold on to this. Don't doubt the system. You know you can run fast. All you just gotta do is do it. And you have bad days. They told me they've had bad days as well. They told me, like, even the best have bad days. You just need to bounce back and make sure that you have more good days than bad days. And that's what I did. I made sure, like, the outdoor meet, we had like 2 weeks off the NCs, open up with the 10-1. I was like, smooth sailing. So I was like, okay, I'm in it. I'm in business right now. And then as I went through the season, I was consistently 10-1, 10-1, 10-1, 10-1. Then as towards the end of the season, I started dropping 10-0, 10-0, 10-0. And then you see a 9-8 out of nowhere. So I was like, I mean, that race, I knew I was going to run sub 10 for sure. Yeah. With win, no win. I just knew. Because even if you convert the win, it would have been like a 9-9 late race. Yeah. So I was like, okay, I'm in it. I'm in it. And then regionals came. I went 10-04. I'm 10-04 with like 0 win, 0.0. And then, because I knew I was going to run fast. Because in the prelims, I shut down the 10-0. So I was like, okay, I wish I just ran through the line, because I would have ran 9-8. But it's in the bag. I know it's like in the legs. And, it's very hard to like duplicate your race, but that's what I work towards. And that's why that's what kept me consistent throughout my outdoor season, because I never ran worse than 10-1. Yeah. Talk about that consistency though, because like we were talking before we hopped on camera about, you'll see a guy and he'll run 10-0, 10-1,
like back-to-back weeks, and then by the time they get to nationals, they're running 10-4, 10-5. You're like, what happened to them? Like, explain what it takes to be consistent.
I think a huge part of it is confidence and, you know, like your mental readiness, because a lot of people going to championships, you know, for example, it was raining in Eugene. The first day it was literally pouring.
Yeah.
You know, but I got to the line. I'm like, I don't care if it's pouring. I just ran a 4x1. You know, I just got ran down. I'm like, okay, I'm not playing now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't care if it's raining, snowing. I'm getting to the line first. Gun went, executed my race. I ran. If I ran the same race, I feel if I ran the same race I did in the prelim and the final, I think I would have won it because I was more relaxed. I had less pressure on me.
Yeah.
I just wanted to run my own race. And then, but in the final, that's where the mental aspect came in. I knew Michael Williams, for example, has a fast start, and I knew he was gonna get out. And in my head, I'm like, okay, just be patient, and run your own race. You can win it if you run your own race. But I didn't, because, you know, as a sprinter, there's so much anxiety, so much pressure.
Yes. Here's one thing. All you football players, y'all have 60 plays in a game to get your points. All you basketball players, y'all have like 17 shots, 15 shots. You have one race. Explain that pressure. Like, I don't feel like people respect track and field athletes enough, because literally, if you have a bad mental day, if you have a bad day at the office, it's over. Like, you don't get 4 quarters, you get one race.
Just think about it. I always say, think about it this way. You're training for 300 plus days. Every day you're training to run a 10-second race. That race is going to start at the same time every day. Every time at nationals, you know, at 5:30, at 5, you're going to have the 4x1. At 6, you're going to have the 100 meters. And at 6:30, you're going to have the 200. That's your prelim day and your final day, same time. You know that time exactly at 6 p.m. when you're about to run that 100, everything has to be good mentally. You have to be warmed up. You have to be feeling good. You have to be making sure that you're at your best shape mentally, because if someone else just thinks for a second that you're not confident enough, that gives them the confidence. They know, okay.
They can smell, bro, I swear, in the warm-up area, you can smell punk from a mile away.
That's
You're like, oh,
he's not ready.
They ain't in
He's
it.
ready.
If they one tell, at least for me, when dudes will be talking a whole lot,
much, yeah.
It's like, bro, we're about to run. I'm trying to beat you. Like, I'm trying to break you off in this 4. And you over here talking about, hey, man, you know how you train me going. I don't care about none of that. Like, I feel like as a sprinter, for me, I would go into like a whole different mental space. Like, for me, I'm normally a talkative dude, right? But like when I'm in the warm-up area, it's just like in the zone.
Straight business. It's straight business. I always tell them that. And I say that, you know, when you come to a track meet, you have no business asking somebody for their PR. Like, don't ask me for my PR.
Hey, Sean, you know, I heard you ran 10-1. What's your real PR?
Looking at.
I'm now forced to lie to you. I'm gonna be like, no, I mean, I haven't ran that. I've never ran that fast. I'm a 10-4 guy, you know. I'm still new to this track stuff, and then you won't see me blow you off, you know. So it's like, I don't want to lie to you, but don't ask me those questions at track meet. That's what I always say. I'm like, you know, just stay in your own lane. We can socialize afterwards. You can ask me all the questions you want. It can be my vlog, you know. But
exactly.
I'm not just gonna walk around and be all chatty. Because I respect everyone. I'm like, okay, bro, you probably you just trying to do your thing. I'm trying to do my thing. I think I'm gonna leave you to warm up. You know, if you're gonna come talk smack to me, then I'm gonna be forced to talk smack to you, and you ain't gonna like it. You know. So,
what is Shaun Maswanganyi smack talk like? Have you ever had to trash talk anybody?
Not in America, no, not yet. But
bro, I swear, the Jamaicans think we talk the most trash. Cap, you ever been in the Facebook group, bro? All you. Let me not get into it. I'm about to go off on a whole tangent. I love Jamaica for real though. I got to interview Elaine Thompson. That was great. So, but let's get back on track.
Yeah.
All right, let's reel it back in. I almost blew up all the Jamaican. I want to have all y'all men talking about Bamba Clot. What you gotta do, boy? You got the ting up in. Nah, I want the smoke. I want the smoke. I know y'all crazy.
Easy chilling. Chilling.
This is crazy. But let's talk about your competition. So we already talked about Makai Williams. Who else are you looking forward to racing this year?
Devontae Burnett from USC.
Okay.
Javon Martin.
Oh yeah, JoJo, shout out.
My other guy Taylor Banks from FSU.
Okay.
Because he had like a bad race in nationals. I think he got injured.
Yeah.
But he would have ran a good race as well because he was like up there as well. So, you know.
Because FSU had 2 guys in the final.
So, you know, they're a good team. They got a good 4x1 as well. You know, really, actually, everyone, especially in the final, you know, I was like, it could have been anyone's race. Like, if you really if you look at the time, everyone ran between 10:05 and 10:1, you know. So it's like, dude, it's really anyone's race about who has it mentally. And I speak to my teammates about it every day. I'm like, guys, when you come to practice, we're doing blocks, we're doing the hard workouts. Think about the little difference. You didn't make regionals because you missed it by 0.03. That little difference, it could be affected by like how many days you came to practice. You could have missed 2 days in practice.
Yeah.
But that 2 days could have made a huge difference. You know what I mean? You could have been more confident within those 2 days. You could have got something right in practice, and then boom, it changes everything. Because really, I remember it only took one race for me to change like my view on the 60. One race. When I ran 6:58, I was running against Cameron Burrell. I was running against some of the other top guys. Like they ran like 6'6". 660, 661, 662. So it was like a close race. I went 658 with Cam, and then the other guys went 660, 661, 662.
Everybody was right there.
So everyone was right there. But the way everything clicked that day, it just made sense. After that, I think when I translated outdoor, same thing outdoor. Outdoor was 10-1, 10-1, 10-1, 10-1. I had this race with Cam and Mario, and I think Tyson Gale was also there. Boom. I saw what Carl was talking about. Like, it just clicked in the race. Yeah. And then after that, I just kept dropping my PR like that, you know. So I was like, that one day, you be sitting in bed and like, I don't feel like coming to practice today, or I don't feel like doing my rehab. That one day, it makes a huge difference. You remember that day?
So talk about that culture though, because I think that comes with the culture of the team and the way like. So this is gonna be a two-parter. Explain the culture of U of H track and field, and explain how you lead in the team. And do you consider yourself a leader?
I mean, I consider myself a leader because, you know, everyone looks up to me. Yeah. And I don't say it because, I tell everyone look up to me. I see it in how, like, I'm respected and how I'm treated, you know, how people come to me and, like, have open conversations about track, like, how they always want to know more. You know, I will do something and then people will do it, like, straight after me. Like, I remember we were having, like, one practice. We were doing the 45-second test, you know.
Oh, killer. Boy, killer.
You know, I came there that day. I was not talking to anyone. And they knew, because I knew I'd take that day very seriously, because that sets me up mentally as to where I am in the season. Yeah. So it was about 3 weeks ago. I came to practice, and I just had my headphones on. And then usually I always have my headphones on, but like my AirPods. But when I have my headphones, it means like really I'm in the zone, you know. I came on the track. Everyone was there. It's just sitting on the stands. I literally walked around the whole track, and I was just like, thinking about my whole race. And then, like, as soon as I sat down, literally everyone just got up and did the same. Like, everyone, like, I promise you, every single sprinter just started walking on the track. And, like, one of my friends even came, like, recording. He came a little late. It was like, why is everyone walking on the track? Like, this is not normal. What is going on here, you know? And there's, like, the little things that, like, I realized, I'm like, you know, it may not seem like it, but someone is always watching. And, you know, and if you're doing good things, they're going to wonder what you're doing, and they're going to want to do the same thing. You know, I like, same way I look up to, like, you know, under the grass, Justin Gatlin. I always look at these guys and what they're doing, you know. I'm not going to say, hey, Christian, you know, I watch what you do. But at the back of my mind, I'm seeing, okay, this is how he holds himself. You know, this is how Justin Gatlin holds himself. This is how he talks to people. This is how Under the Grass does this. So, you know, you're always learning from someone you look up to, or you see someone doing good. And I feel like that's an important part, like, important thing I learned. And, you know, people are learning from me. So when it comes to, like, the winning culture we have, is that, you know, at the end of the day, we are like 4x1 team. It's Houston. It's not just me alone, you know. So if we mess up, if one person messes up, we mess up, because we don't get the stick around. At Nationals, when we dropped the stick, it was a Houston thing. It's not, oh, Travis and Jordan didn't get the exchange. It's a we thing, you know. Yeah. So we all have to take the fall for it. You know, it's Houston lost, not, oh, Sean lost, you know. So that's the one thing I always say. It's like, when you come to practice, realize that you're not just practicing for yourself, but you're practicing for me. I'm practicing for you, because we're trying to better each other every day. Iron sharpens iron. I always say that. So yeah.
Man, did y'all hear all that preaching just now? But that's one thing I would definitely say is, like, as a leader, people are going. You can tell a good organization by the worst employee, right? Because they're going to imitate who's ever at the top. Yeah. So whether that's good habits, bad habits, and I think that goes to speak of the leaders that you guys have with Coach Burrell and Coach Carl. It's incredible what they're doing here, because it's, you know, they could have rested on their laurels, but now they're getting back to guys like you and producing so many high-level sprinters. I mean, just talk about the team in general. Like, what really drew you to U of H?
You know, U of H, I looked at the roster. I'm like, you know, there's a lot of good guys here. I saw a lot of guys running 10-2s, 10-3s, and I'm like, you know, just that little push it can take them to 10-1, you know, just that little push, that little motivation. It can go from 20.6 to 20.4. And I feel like I didn't come, like any program I would have went to, I would have pretty much been the top guy, especially when I was looking at my offers. So I was like, you know, it's not like, oh, I'm going to school because I'm going to be the best. I didn't even think about that. I was just thinking about, okay, think long term. I want to be in a winning team. I want to be in a team where, you know, every practice, I'm like, guys are fired up too. You know, this guy wants to beat me in the blocks. He wants to beat me in the blocks. And, you know, when I went to like the various universities I visited, you know, LSU also had the same like winning mentality, you know, the same type of energy throughout practice and so forth. So I was like, that also drew me. So really, it was like, I remember it was very hard for me to decide between Houston and LSU. But ultimately, I would already decided in Houston in the back of my mind. I'm like, okay, you know, everything just seems like it's right for me, and I feel like I'm gonna fit in like perfectly. And you know, a year later, I don't regret my decision, and I'm coming back harder than ever.
There we go. And one thing I want to touch on real quick is just talking about your approach. How important is it? Because I feel like I made this mistake as a young sprinter, because I remember watching Bolt as a kid, and it's like he's this loud, boisterous guy, right? Like he's entertaining. I've come to realize it's more about being true to yourself. So if you're like a quiet person, like, you know, you see all these people listening to rap music, doing all this stuff, you might need to listen to classical, because that's what gets you in your zone. You feel me? Because like speak about people, you know, and how adjusting to track and field is really about learning about yourself. Because I feel like this sport teaches you more about yourself than almost any other sport, because it's literally just you and the track. So
I mean, especially with certain events in track, it's really just like a lonely sport. The only thing that separates sprints is because you have 4x4s, you know, you have your relays, mixed, et cetera. But I realized, I'm like, at 18, that's when I really had the eye-opening experience. I was like, okay, you know, at the end of the day, I want to improve, you know, and I want to be better. I don't want to have regrets. So I started like the small things, you know. I was only in like my senior year in high school, but I started saying, okay, I need to change my diet. I need to plan better. I need to stop going to parties as much. I need to stop, you know, going to
He's
social
still party
gathering,
hard though,
you know. So I had to literally like stop saying, okay, stop doing this, stop doing that, But it's not like I stopped all at once, because it's human nature, you know. You want to have fun, you want to go out, you want to live, you know. You don't want to limit your life. You still want to have a good time, but at the same time, you need to prioritize and realize what really matters. So I know me, for example, track is my bread and butter. I'm still good academically. I'm smart, you know. So, but it's like, okay, I really want to make track work, and in order for me to make track work, I need to make the necessary sacrifice, you know. So I said, okay, coming into it, I'm like, okay, you know, with track, every day is like about learning. You have to learn about yourself. You have to realize that, okay, you know, when I warm up, for example, I used to warm up with music. Now, Carl got me, like, he got me so used to warming up without music, because he says that, you know, oh yeah, no, you can warm up with music today, but, you know, what if your phone dies? Then what? You're at a global meet. You know, he always has these what if scenarios. Like, same way, like, he always says consistency in everything is what brings out the best in everyone. So he will tell me that,
that's
you
a
know,
bar. Say that one more time. That's a bar. Say it one more time.
I just forgot it.
Hold on. We gonna let him collect his thoughts. It's consistency is the what?
Now it just ran out of my mind because I had to repeat it.
I messed it up.
But essentially, like, you know, if you're consistent in everything you do, it's gonna bring out the best in you, because you already
there it is. If you're consistent in everything you do, it's gonna bring out the best in you.
Yeah. So, you know, same thing with my, like, even long jump, for example. I'm going a little bit off the sprints, but like long jump, he doesn't want me to run into my run. He just wants me to run straight from that point, you know, because you could run into your run and you have more speed than the previous run, and then you compensating for your speed. Next thing you know, you messing up your run up. Next thing, you're messing up your takeoff. You know, it's like everything is a domino effect. If you don't eat good, you can't recover good. If you can't recover good, you're not going to be able to train as well. If you don't train as well, you can't perform as well. That's why you have to think of track. So, you know, if you're messing up your sleep pattern, just know that it's going to affect your practice the next day. You're going to be too tired for weights. You can't lift as much as you normally do. You're not going to get the necessary work in. Now you can't translate that to a track. Track, you can't translate that to meet. So I had to start thinking of everything as a domino effect. I like my numbers. So I know if 1 + 1 is not making 2, then I know I'm doing something wrong, you know? So you have to always recuperate and think, okay, I'm not improving. Why am I not improving? Okay, I've been going out a little bit too much. I've been sleeping late. School is keeping me up. Okay, what can I do? You always have to think, okay, how can I be better? Because it's one thing complaining. Because like for me, for example, I won't lie. Sometimes I complain, but I realize I still got to get it done. I complain, I'm like, I have 2 tests tomorrow. I'm still going to study though. I'm still going to make sure, you know, I'm going to get up. I'm like, sometimes I look at my coach. I'm like, Carl, we have 4-2. We have 4-3-2 today. We had that last week. I'm like, I'm gonna come today. I'm gonna run. You know, I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna run a 47. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna run a 34 and come back and go 20 point. You know, so I always tell them like, okay, I might complain, but I'm sure as hell gonna put in that work, and I'm gonna make sure every rep counts.
Yeah.
So that's really what it is, and that's what you learn more about yourself. You realize that, you know, you actually love it, and when you learn to love something and you live it, it doesn't feel like it's a burden. Like, I don't feel track is a burden because I'm like, you know, I love the sport so much. I've committed so much. I've seen it pay off for me. And the more I do it, the more I just want to keep doing.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Man, that was great right there. So I know you talked earlier about the guys that you watch and who you try and pick from and, you know, take parts like, oh, this is how Gatlin does things. This is how DeGrasse does things. What was it like seeing them operate in Tokyo? I know Gatlin wasn't there. But for DeGrasse and just seeing, like, what did you take from them specifically?
You know, I wouldn't say I took specific things from them because, you know, I've been watching them for so long.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, just to be in the same environment as them and see how they warm up. Because, you know, we all warm up in the same area. We all train in the same area. You know, we all see the composure. You know, so I'm like, okay, you know, I had to actually, I remember the first, like, couple of days when I got to the track and, you know, I was seeing Elaine Thompson. I was seeing Shelly Ann. And I was like, you know, it's crazy to think that I'm elite because I'm here. And, you know, once you realize that, you know, you have to actually start thinking you're elite. You know, I'm still in college, National Collegiate Amateur Athletics, but I've been on the world stage. I've been amongst elite athletes. You know, I have to start thinking like that. And I realized, I'm like, you know, how you compose yourself, even through like simple things like interviews. When I watch Andre DeGrasse in his interviews, when I watch, you know,
hey, watch my Andre DeGrasse interview on the channel. Shameless plug. All right, continue.
Yeah, like, you know, when I watch Andre DeGrasse speak on his interviews, I watch Akani Simbini address, you know, the media, et cetera, et cetera. You know, there's a certain way you need to speak to people and certain way you need to address certain things. You know, you can't just always think, oh yeah, I'm gonna address things however I want, and however they take it. You know, social media is a powerful place. You know, it can make or break you. So small things like that, when you realize that, you know, it's not always just about you. You know, it's also about like people around you. You gotta start thinking beyond yourself as well. It's very important, and I learned that, you know, just from like simply just, you know, watching other people be themselves, and that also made me like reflect on myself. And, you know, I've seen some change. I've had to like become a little better. You know, social media, you can't always be interacting with everything. I used to be a very social bunny, you know, on social media. I wouldn't socialize as much in person, but social media, I would always be there. But, you know, I realized, okay, you have to address certain things in a certain way. You can't address certain things, you know. So it's tough being an athlete because, you know, someone's always watching. But, you know, if it comes naturally to you, it doesn't feel like a burden, like I said. So, yeah.
Okay. And then since we're talking about social media, you have your own YouTube channel. Shout it out real quick. Tell the people what you do.
So my YouTube channel, pretty much, I'm still building it up, like building it brick by brick. But so far, I have a lot of my meet vlogs. My NCAA vlog is my biggest vlog. I think it's on 28K views. My Olympic vlogs on like 12K views. I have my other vlogs that are around 10K views. I have about 5,500 subscribers. So I'm still coming up, but I'm not gonna base it fully on track. I'm gonna have a little bit of my lifestyle incorporated into it. You know, just my day-to-day living, you know, just life outside of track as well, and kind of just showing like people the true me outside of track. And I feel like it's important for me to share my story because no one's going to be able to share my story besides
you.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
So what kind of got you into doing YouTube though?
Yeah, it was actually crazy because like I have some YouTube friends, and then you know, they didn't even really start filming until like probably like beginning of last year. Because we were just like, you know, we just post like Instagram stuff, and people are like, you guys are so like, you know, entertaining and enjoy watching your stories. Like, you guys should make a YouTube. Like, just us, like all my friends together. And they're like, you know, they started the YouTube, they blew up a little bit. You know, they like, I think some of them are like 12,000 subscribers. And then I was like, you know what, like, I'm just as entertaining, you know, like so many people on Instagram always interacting with me saying, dude, we miss you posting stories. Like, what's going on? Like, you know, are you okay? They're always checking on me. You know, I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good. You know, just school's like taking its toll on me. And I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to like make a YouTube channel for them. And then, you know, there's like YouTube channel is more for them than for me, you know, because I know myself better than myself. But, you know, just to let people know about me, keep up with my life. My mom enjoys it. My mom's my biggest fan. She's
facts.
Yeah, you
man,
know.
if you look on his videos, I'm sure his mom's like to comment. Mom leaves comments on mine. Shout out, mom. Love you, mom.
My mom is on everything, Instagram story, Twitter, everything. You know, she's always on top of that. But yeah, that's why I started my YouTube channel. I'm like, you know what, I want to give the people some content about me, and you know, if they're interested in that, they want to enjoy that, and you know, that's what I'm gonna do.
There we go. Hey, but talk about your mom though. Like, what is that relationship like with you? And like, has anything been different? It's like, oh, I have an Olympian as a son.
Yeah.
Like talk about that.
So with my mom, she's always been supportive of every sport I did. You know, my mom.
What'd you do growing up?
So I did basketball. I played rugby. I played cricket.
Oh, my boy,
I
lead.
played everything. I played everything, and I pretty much made state or national level in like pretty much every sport I played. Until in my senior year, I was still playing rugby. I was still playing basketball, and then, you know, I was like, dude, like, how you running so fast? Why you still do these other sports? I mean, that's when I really knew. I'm like, you know what, maybe I you know, I need to take this talent fully and focus it on, like, channel it towards track, because I knew I can't make the NBA and basketball because I don't have the skills. I didn't have enough time to like develop the skills to that level of, like, you know, playing college basketball to making the NBA. I knew with rugby is very shaky. It's also a little bit political. It also depends what school you go to, et cetera, et cetera. It's like football here. Like, you know, they want to look for Heisman from certain schools, you know. So same thing with,
if you ain't 6'3", you're not going to be my linebacker.
you know, so it's like same thing. So I was like, okay, with track, I'm more in control of my, you know, my results. I know what I'm doing, and, you know, I don't have to bet on the team unless maybe a relay, but like, I was always in control of that, and my mom supported me throughout that. You know, she was there. When I needed soccer boots, rugby boots, she just say, okay, you need it, I get it. You know, and she was always there. And then, you know, sometimes she just wakes up sometimes and calls me. She's like, you know, I'm so proud of you. And I'm like,
man,
dude, it's like 7 in the morning. He just woke me up. She's on the other side of the world. He's told me, I'm so proud. And then
I know that has to be a good feeling though.
It's a good feeling. I mean, I always say, like, making my mom proud is like probably like my most favorite thing to do ever, because, you know, just to see my family members also, you know, my family members growing up, they always told me I was going to be special. You know, they always saw what I was doing in sports. They didn't know what I was going to do, but they always said, no, dude, listen, you are gifted. Whatever you do, just put it in your all and just succeed, you know. And just my cousins, you know, I inspire my cousins. I inspire my nephews, you know, my even my uncles, you know, some of my uncles are like, you know, like 30s, and, you know, they're like, dude, like, you inspire me. I won't even lie. You were young and everything, but you inspire me, and there's nothing that can take that away, you know. And it's just moments like that where family really appreciates you and what you do. It's like you cherish that forever.
Definitely. So let's wrap this up real quick, and let's just talk about your goals for the upcoming season. So what are you looking to run? Where are you looking to run it at, and what meets are you looking forward to?
Yeah, I can't say where I'm gonna run fast, but I feel like pretty much every meet I'm going to, you know, I'm pretty much trying to run fast. But, you know, with the 60, I know to win 60 indoors, you're gonna need sub 650. You know, so to win indoors, you're gonna need sub 650. To win indoor 200, you're gonna need 20.2 and below. You know, you're gonna need at least 27 feet in the long jump. You know, these are like all things I have to think about before I even just start competing. And then outdoor, I know that, okay, 9.9 has to be in the bag on any other day to be guaranteed a national title. You know, 19.8.
Hey,
19.8. You know, and, you know, relay 38.4. Just that's all the numbers I'm thinking about. I'm like, you know, I know I'm gonna run better than that. I just need to make sure that I'm doing it on a consistent basis. Like, any given day, okay, coach wants me to run a 6.5 today. Oh, I'm doing that off the couch. You know what I mean? So I just know that, like, okay, I'm not gonna limit myself. Okay, and say, okay, now I want to run 6.45 or 6.44, but, you know, I'm gonna give myself a threshold. I'm like, okay, I'm not running any time worse than this. You know,
you give yourself a nice floor.
I cut off. I'm like, okay, you know, I'm gonna open up pretty much, because I'm obviously in better shape than last year. So obviously I have to kind of set the standard a little bit higher as to where I opened up, where I closed off, while being consistently, you know, gradual, like progressing throughout my season, obviously getting faster as the meets go by. But there are titles to be won, indoor, outdoor, post college. We have world championships, and then Commonwealth games. So there's a lot of meets this season, but, you know, my coach and I, we managed that pretty smartly last year, so I didn't feel burnt out. Even in Tokyo, still ran pretty much close to my PRs so late in the season, like August, you know. So I feel like my coach and I got a good thing going. pretty much we loaded the program a little bit more because obviously we're going to be doing a lot more this season, and we know exactly what to work on, but it ain't a problem. Adapting pretty well to the training, so we're treating it one day at a time.
Hey, y'all heard it here first. Exclusive interview, Shaun Maswanganyi. Hey, appreciate it, man.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir.